morning, friends. Actually, good afternoon. It is time for another writing vlog. I'm picking up pretty much right where I left off the last one. There's always a playlist if you want to follow along with this specific book that I'm writing. I have the windows open. It is crazy windy today, like 60-mile-an-hour winds or something. So there's going to be that in the background. And then I'm also doing a crap ton of laundry. It's Friday and I'm on my second coffee of the day. I did finally purchase an espresso machine. I have started off every vlog, every writing vlog, by telling you, what are you doing? You just chilling? Starting off every writing vlog by telling you that I've been spending too much money at Starbucks. I spent like 80 bucks last month. I was doing my expenses. Ridiculous. So I found a cheap one on Amazon. In my last writing vlog, you saw me hit 80K. So I hit 80,000 words, which is very exciting. And I am now, I've hit 81,000. Because it's been a couple of days since I vlogged. So I'm at 81 and a half, I think, something like that. I'm keeping track of everything up on this word count tracker. And if you missed it, I did do a whole video on my little mood board, my little book mood board. It's been quite helpful and quite invigorating, I do have to say. The thing that I glance up at the most is my cast of characters. I do love this a lot. Having the names and the faces, if you're an art breeder girly like I am, so helpful. Love it so much. And then as you can see, I still have all of my chapter title summaries. I'm writing a dark academic adult fantasy. If this is the first video of mine that you're tuning in for, thank you so much for being here. And I've been kind of distracting myself this morning. I'm gonna try to not turn on the TV at all because the problem is I will put music on, but because there are mid-roll ads, I hear an advertisement and then I like turn around and I'll like skip the ad, and then it like will break my train of thought sometimes. If there's too much input from like social media and like watching YouTube and like consuming other people's content, it makes it harder for me to do my own writing. We are writing an entire school year, so about like 9 months worth is the time frame for my book. And then we just started in winter, so chapter 22 was the start of winter, and so I'm currently writing chapter 23. So hopefully that sort of gets you up to speed a little bit, somewhat maybe. You have to move now because now I gotta sit down. Yeah, you have to move now. Oh, it's my chair. It's kind of our chair, but it's mostly my chair. I haven't really talked about this in terms of like, I mean, you guys know that like I want to traditionally publish and stuff, but I haven't really talked about like trends in the but something that I am a little bit afraid of, and this is just the way of traditional publishing. I really don't want the dark academic like trend to go away or for people to get really sick of it, and then this book to then all of a sudden be very like, to feel very like after the fact. Traditional publishing goes pretty slow, so I feel like whatever we're seeing like now in the market, by the time that I finish the first draft, finish the second draft, send it off to a developmental editor, which I want to do before I query, then send it to a literary agent, and then we go on sub, and then we might sit on sub for a couple of months or whatever. That's a lot of time, and you have to be really careful when you're writing something that is like trendy. I'm probably overthinking it, but it's a concern. It's a concern that I have. Obviously with like traditional or with self-publishing, things move so much quicker because you're basically like, as soon as you feel like it's ready to go, you can format it and then like basically put it up on Amazon. And then it's, you know, your book's in the market. You also make more money doing that typically, at least like per book, like the individual sale of each book. And honestly, money is not like a big motivator for me at all. I don't know. It's just something that I've been thinking about a lot, and honestly kind of like probably unnecessarily stressing myself out about is like how quickly that I'm writing, because I don't want to like miss, I don't know, I feel like the dark academic genre is already so popular and I don't want to like miss the train. Does that make any sense? Am I being silly? I don't know. I feel like if something is written well, it's gonna sell no matter what, even if it's like has specific tropes or whatever. So maybe I'm just being paranoid. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. Something I was going to mention is because we're now in winter, in book time, I wasn't totally sure what I was gonna do in terms of like Christmas time at this house, this mansion where all of my characters live. It's like an international student body, so you might have some people celebrating like Yule or Christmas time, and then you're gonna have some people who definitely don't. But I wanted to bring like the magic of the holidays into the book, at least in like a brief mentioning of like the decorations or something like that. And so I know last time I shared with you my little winter paragraph, like my transition into winter, and I thought I would share with you my little brief description of the holidays. It's just a couple of sentences. It's not Christmas time anymore, it's spring. So it's like weird to be writing it, but it just makes me happy because like Christmas makes me happy. The laundry's going and I know that it's gonna be in the background and it's gonna annoy me when I edit. It reads, fresh pine boughs, bound with bows of black silk ribbon, draped across doorways and snaked down every stairwell's banister, while cinnamon, star anise, cranberries, and citrus wafted from bubbling copper pots in the kitchen, saturating the entire house in Yuletide aromatics. Incandescent lights were dimmed promptly at 5 p.m., 3 candles lit for every sconce and chandelier, casting the entire house in a flickering golden glow and providing a much-needed lift in evening spirits. The perfect antidote to winter's early nightfall. So that is my little, what is that, like 2 or 3 sentences, 3 or 4, whatever, sentences to just kind of like set the scene and set the mood. Chapter that's actually fairly dark because our main character realizes that there's actually somebody pretty close to her who's been like reporting on her whereabouts. So it will be interesting to see how the fall of that plays out. I mean, I know how it's going to play out because I literally have the entire thing outlined, but sometimes things change from your outline. I'm going to get busy. We're about to hit like 300 pages in the actual manuscript. Obviously that doesn't translate to like book pages because of the formatting and stuff. So it's not that I would be at like the 300 page mark for a book. I'm not totally sure what that would translate to be completely honest. This is my problem with documenting this whole book is like, I just want to sit here and talk about it instead of actually doing the work. So I know I can hit 82 today for sure while I'm sitting here, kind of like in between doing like the laundry and stuff. So enough blabbering, let's get to it. Okay, friends, it is much later. It is almost 7 p.m. I need to walk my 5K. I have not done any physical activity today. I hit 82,000 words, which you saw. I did not do it all in one go. I've only written about 500 words today, which isn't great. I could have done better, but I had literally, I think it was like 4 loads of laundry, 3 or 4. I don't know why we had so much laundry, but anyway, so I was getting up and doing that. I think I'm nearly to the end of a scene, so I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap that up. I've got like a couple of sentences, I think, and then that will be the first scene of chapter 23 done. This has already changed. This was like, it used to be 22 and now it's 23. This was supposed to be an entire chapter. See, this is why even when you re-outline, things still change and you have to be open and flexible to like pantsing instead of plotting the whole way, because I thought that was going to take up an entire, chapter, and it is not. It's like one scene. Will you shut it? Let me actually see what my word count is. Stop! Gotta keep myself on track. That is only 1,200 words, what I just wrote. 1,267 words. That is not long enough for a chapter in this particular book. I'm keeping them roughly between like 3,000 and 5,000, which I'm aware is like a pretty large gap. But it's just kind of a good general loosey-goosey sort of rule of thumb. so that everything stays like relatively consistent. I'm going to combine this with the next one. So this is no longer going to be its own chapter. Now this will be part of this. So I just need to kind of make some sort of note here. No, that'll put me back on track. I was ahead, but now that I'm eating this one with this one, now I'm back on track. So whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'm not somebody who like needs there to be a particular number of chapters in a book. I don't think that that really amounts to anything important. So I am still in the middle of reading the Atlas Complex. I'm literally halfway through. I'm gonna hop on the treadmill and read for a little bit. You look like you're being a weirdo. The birds are like, ah!
Are they really?
One of them was.
He's like, what do I do?
We don't have a tree. Yeah, luckily we don't have one. Since we have high winds and stuff. Well, I just mean like a house too, not even us. But first priority is life. I know. I said it weird. I said it backwards. Good morning again, friends. It is the next day. I have done all of the things that I needed to do in order for us to be like ready for our spring break trip. Like I did all the laundry and stuff yesterday. I'm hoping that today can be slightly better in terms of my actual word count. Yesterday, I only did 500 words. That was the most that I did. Although I did have a late night writing session last night, which you would have seen, or if you didn't, I'll insert the clip now, where I actually ended up banging out maybe like 100 more words. I don't actually know. Let's actually check the word count. Word count. Oh, okay. 82,371. So I actually wrote more than I thought I did. We are, I think, about halfway through chapter 23. So let's see if I can do maybe a sprint. I don't normally do those, but it might actually be a good idea just to prevent me from getting distracted and doing other things. What is happening with my hair? I'm sorry, I did just wake up. So maybe I could set like a timer or something and do like 20 minutes. I feel like we could do 20 minutes would go by pretty fast. So let's do a 20-minute sprint. 20 minutes. Let's see how many words I wrote. I don't know that that was like my best sprint ever. Been listening to this Spotify playlist called Dark Piano. It's quite nice. Okay, I'm gonna highlight what I've written. It's really not much. But I'm getting into the flow, right? It's the morning. I've just woken up. 252 words. Okay, so not great. I don't know what the average is. 12.6 words a minute. I should make it to where it's like a competition against myself, and later in the day try to beat that. 12 words per minute. Also, I need to let the cat outside because he's just been very sad and very patient. Guillermo, have you been patient? Have you been waiting? You wanna go outside? Yeah? It's cold. I'm not going. Okay, folks, little update. I made a very weak little cappuccino because it's 2 p.m. and I recently found out that apparently caffeine can stay in your system for like 10 hours or something like that. I am at 82,779 words. I have definitely been distracted as usual. I'm that person who could live off of any form of bread and coffee indefinitely. I'm nearly at the end of this scene. Let's do another little sprint. I found that the previous one was not maybe super successful. Let's see if we can do slightly better this time. So I will set another timer on my phone. Let's pop back into the scene and see how quickly I can finish it. Time. Let's see how many words that is. Okay, we're at 83,006. 83,006 words. 227 words. 11.35. Okay. I'm gonna get better at these things. I really will. And I think it would be a lot of fun to do one with you guys, like where we do it in real time. It does, having that like time constraint, it does make me, like, it gives you that sense of urgency. Maybe my next writing blog, I can incorporate those, like a real time one. I am really proud of myself for getting to, I hit 83K, obviously. That's awesome. Do I feel like things are moving very quickly? Not really. Something that I've realized, I think the story moves so slowly because I'm literally writing it, like I'm actually drafting it. And so I can look at the outline and remind myself like, okay, this is actually moving fairly quickly, and the outline kind of helps me check my pacing. Whereas when I'm actually in the scene and I'm writing the scene, it feels like it's going so slow. I'm like, this is gonna be so boring for the reader. But in actuality, it's just taking me so long to actually physically write it and draft it that it feels like it's going slower than what it will be for the reader, obviously. I am writing a scene in the library. We are getting into our main character hearing some whispering. We're kind of at a scene where she's flashing back to like in her youth when she thought that she was actually like schizophrenic, like she thought she was crazy because she's hearing these voices. but now she's in an appropriate place where she can be trained and stuff. So she's kind of like we're basically kind of uncovering her trauma, and I want to have the very next scene after this takes place at the little cafe that they have on campus. It's called the Solarium, and she's gonna have a conversation with her. He's like an ex-professor, like former professor, and he's sort of her mentor, the one who's helping train her. And there's gonna be a scene where they kind of both discuss their sort of dark night of the soul over like a cup of coffee or something. I don't know if that's the perfect setting because it's kind of a public setting, because anybody can come and go from the cafe, so I may have to change it later. That's where I'm at in terms of the actual outline. This is chapter 23 of 34, so obviously that can change through the drafting process, but that's where I am. If this is the first writing vlog that you're popping into and you're like, what the heck is she even doing? What is she talking about? 23 divided by 34? 67%. That feels like, I mean, what is that, like 2/3? So I'm 2/3 of the way through. That's very exciting. Obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, that's a very rough estimate because these, like sometimes I think a scene is going to be a lot longer or shorter than it actually ends up being. The 67% is kind of, it's very much like a, very, very rough estimate. But I feel like I'm getting there. We are coming up on the climax. This is definitely going to be a book that you do kind of have to wait for the climax. It's very much near the end of the book, and there's a lot of like revelations and stuff, lots of physical and emotional things happening. So I think it's going to be worth it, even though sometimes it is really annoying when I'm reading a book and it's like the second to last chapter before something like really, really crazy happens. All right, I think I'm going to quit for the day. Well, quit filming. I'm still going to sit back there and write, but I'm going to kind of shut the camera off and really, really focus, because filming, ironically, usually does distract me from the actual writing process. Speaking of distractions, if you use these writing vlogs, which I sometimes do with other people's writing vlogs, to avoid your own writing, I definitely encourage you to close out of YouTube, like close out of this video, put a 20-minute timer on your phone, and then see how many words you can do in 20 minutes, because I bet you it's more than I can do. Come back to this video at some point and then type in the comments like how many words you did in 20 minutes, because I'm the type of person, I go back and I edit and I nitpick as I'm actively writing. Like, I can't just write a sentence, right? That would be too easy. That would be too simple. I have to go back and edit it and change words as I'm actively writing, which I know makes for a stronger draft in the long run, but it takes the drafting process. It makes it very long. I wish you the best of luck with whatever your current work in progress is. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.